Hello everyone, this is HESKeski here, back to some more Starcraft 2 Heart of the Swarm 1v1 action. This time it's going to be a continuation of the last series, which was Acer versus Axiom. Now, spawning in the bottom right side, the last hope for Team Acer, and actually it's going to be the last hope for Team Axiom as well. But MMA, her fallen compatriot, is now gone, and it is all up to Scarlett down in the bottom right side, playing under the name Toss Imba, which is quite hilarious. And down the bottom left side, it is going to be Axiom Ryung, who is trying to carry Team Axiom to yet another victory. Now, this game is amazing, and I want to tell you why. Number one, the players are sweet. Number two, and almost more importantly, this is now from a best of 9 down to a best of 1. And also, more importantly, this is the one game that decides which team advances to the finals of the Acer Team Cup. And this is basically the winners finals is what this is called. So the losers here is going to drop down into the losers bracket. So if Ryung kind of fumbles and dies, then Team Axiom has to work their way through the losers bracket. Same thing with Scarlett. If she dies, both in person and also in game, that's not going to be good for Team Acer. So hopefully she doesn't, because that just got really dark there really quickly. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I haven't heard any bad news on the StarCraft Reddit. But either way, what's interesting is Acer decided to resurrect Scarlett for this match, as she did get eliminated a little bit earlier in the round. But I gotta say that Scarlett's TvZ is actually phenomenal. I mean, it's amazing. It's a thing of beauty. I would highly recommend all the Zerg players out there try and learn from it. Given she probably has much higher APM, like I don't know if you guys have 200 APM, but you can definitely learn a lot from her mentality, her scouting, her timings, her build orders. Very, very useful stuff there. And Ryung, I gotta say, the fact that he managed to pull back off, I almost don't even want to recommend that to other Terran players. It's so tough to do. It's so tough. Now, Mech did get that buff with the upgrades combining, but I don't know if he's going to be utilizing that here today or not. But I could not be more excited. I mean, this is a best of 1 to decide who gets to the finals, which has me a little bit giddy. I want to know exactly how this game goes. Does Scarlett work this well under pressure? We know that Ryung does. Ryung having been to a ton of tournaments, a ton of very important matches. And this Overlord... Wait, did he spot that guess? Oh my god, this is the ballsiest Overlord ever. Is going to, if that was a Marine, this Overlord would have been super dead. But the Overlord is going to spot the Reaper, spot the Reactor, and all of a sudden, Scarlett already gets a 1-up on Ryung. And we're not talking about 1-ups from Mario, but they might as well be, because she's going to know that there is a Reaper heading out already. She's got to know about the add-on. She knows that there's no defense, and she also knows the timing of the command center. This is like the Gosuist Overlord. The reason I say the timing of the command center, because once you spot the gas and the reactor, you know when the command center is going to be. The Reaper right now, his job is mostly going to be for scouting. We should see some lings be constructed here pretty darn quickly. And indeed we do. Might actually be able to get a drone right there. That could turn into an extractor if it gets too low on HP. The Reaper here, though, not going to be able to do all that much. Should be able to save the Reaper, but I don't know if it's going to be able to kill off any drone. Well, this drone's completely undefended, so might actually be able to get that one. Oh, God, the drone there narrowly surviving. Builds a Spore Caller to try and save it. The Reaper does escape, but guess what? So do both of those drones. So 2 very low HP drones at this expansion right now. Actually, where is the other low HP drone? Did he end up dying? No, he's right there. Okay, so he's getting back to work. He's like, all the other workers are like, should you see a doctor? And the drone's like, we're Zerg, we don't have doctors. Yeah, well, I guess queens are doctors, but they only work like part-time. It's like part-time doctors. Not a full-time surgeon there, as they only have 1 transfuse every couple of minutes. But not a major loss here for either player. But I gotta say, this Overlord, again, I can't emphasize enough how important that scouting is, because you see the reactor here, you know that it's most likely going to be a factory added on right away. And that's going to be telling Scarlett a lot, like maybe you have to prepare for Hellions, which we do already have 2 additional queens on the field. The creep spread hasn't started right away, as the Reaper here is trying to prevent that from happening, and maybe even scaring those queens from not planting on those creep tumors. Only 1 creep tumor on the way. The Reaper right there, though, thankfully for him, he has brought a lot of medikits with him, as he does have the combat drugs during his life quickly while out of combat. And that is totally fine for him, so he's going to be able to survive. Continue to use this for scouting. Needs to make sure to delay this 3rd base as long as possible. At this point, that is that Reaper's job, is make sure that there is no 3rd base. But for now, he's slacking on that job, man. He's just going to be scouting around, trying to spot the drone, trying to spot exactly how fast this creep is actually spreading. And also needs to make sure that there's not a major counterattack or some sort of hidden thing going on. And actually, the 3rd base is going to be down here. The Reaper, I told you, he had 1 job, is going to be spotting that. Now, a lot of times you will see Zerg expand right here, but a lot of times you also see Terran players punish that by being aggressive off of 2 or 3 bases of their own. And I will say that Ryung might want to try and go for this, the 3-base war machine is what I like to call it. This Overlord should get taken out, but there's really no anti-air here. There's 2 Marines right there, but this Overlord's going to spot everything, spots the starport. We'll be able to see cloaking on the way, and Ryung may actually end up canceling this as soon as the Overlord dies. Where are the Marines? No, he's actually just going to go for an attack right now. He's trying to say, you know what, Scarlett has scouted it, but she won't have time to react if I attack right now. The Banshee moving on in, cloaking almost done. Do we have, I mean, what does Scarlett do here? Build spores apparently is the answer. Not a bad one at that. 4 spores are on the way. You can see Scarlett is going to be able to react in time. Will force the cancel here, I think. I think this will force the cancel. I don't think that Zerglings without speed are going to be the answer to the amount of units that are currently here. Cloaking is almost done. I think it would be wise for Ryung to actually cancel that because I don't know what this Banshee is really going to be able to do with so many spore callers on the field. It does look like the Queens, though, in imminent danger here. And this actually, the Banshee is completely undetected right now and will get that 1 Queen, it looks like. Probably should go for the hatchery. Probably don't want to try and go for the kill right now, but Ryung says, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try and end this game right now. Does kill off lots of Lings, but I think he's overextending. I feel like he needs to go for the hatchery itself, just force Scarlett down to 2 bases, because the problem is that if this attack goes south, like, why is this Banshee going for an evolution chamber? He needs to be going on that hatchery. But if this attack goes south, then Scarlett still has 3 bases right now. Ryung, I don't know, man. He is playing with fire right now as he needs to kill out this hatchery for sure. More reinforcements are on the way, but can he actually kill out these Queens? I don't think so. The Overseer is going to be on the way. 1 Queen does go down. Needs to kill out this hatchery, though. Scarlett trying to make enough Lings here to save this base. This hatchery should go down. And you know what? I gotta say, Ryung's playing with fire, but it looks like it actually will pay off here. He did not get burned. Instead, he burned Scarlett there because he did end up doing lots of damage and also killing off the hatchery itself. So, taking a big risk, but that's kind of what you gotta do in this situation. And so far, that risk has paid off. As this army is going to be pushing forward right now. Lots of Hellions. The Banshees here. I don't know that he can actually end the game here, but Scarlett is literally bleeding at this point as she is trying to get these upgrades out. The Evolution Chambers are very low on HP, but I gotta say Scarlett's got to be frustrated here. I mean, she's down in supply. She's got to be down in bases if she's not careful. She's lost 1,000 more resources than Ryung has. And Ryung, I mean, did that basically with just Hellions and 2 Banshees. Now up to 3 Banshees here. Not sure if continuing with the Banshees is a good idea because you probably want to get some anti-air if a Spire is on the way, which there actually is a Spire on the way. So hopefully for Ryung, he can manage to deal with that. He does have 4 barracks on the way and actually might be able to count that hatchery as well. Does get the cancel, which is almost as good as killing it off directly, but does manage to kill off that creep tumor as well. Banshee's quickly learning that it does take 3 shots there to kill us off. Overseer is scouting exactly what's going on. Spots, though, that there's not actually that much anti-air. We do have the missile turret's going to be on the way. We only have 3 Mutalisks being produced. How many overall will be built, though? Remember that Scarlett does have a lot of gas in the bank. I mean, that was 5 Mutalisks, plus she has 500, almost 600 more gas, and that is with the +1 attack on the way. So these Mutalisks will be an actual real threat, and that is something that Ryung needs to realize, as the Mutalisk might actually be able to chase down these Banshees if he's not too careful. So does he know about the Mutalisk? I mean, he's got to realize that they are going to be on the way soon. Where is that Spire, actually? It is, are you gonna not, there we go. So it is at the main base. Don't think that it got spotted here. The Mutalisks are trying to chase this down, but he will spot these Mutalisks right now as that Mutalisk revealing himself, but also not doing that much. We'll delay this missile turret here, which is actually kind of cool. That very well could delay that 3rd base, because you gotta remember that there's not a whole lot of anti-air here for Ryung. Thought he was killing his own units. That even tricked me there for a second. We do have 12 Mutalisks, or excuse me, 12 Marines going to be going up against 8 Mutalisks now. 9, it soon will be 12, actually. So we're going to need a lot more Marines than that. And it's kind of an interesting position because Ryung gave up getting an early 3rd base for going for the early aggression. But now that the Mutalisk count is so high, Scarlett actually has the map control. I don't know if you're going to be able to secure this 3rd base. Got to try and land one down here. Those Mutalisks are going to put a short into that, though, as the Marines got to try and get in a good position here. Remember, they do not have combat shields, which are absolutely essential at trying to establish this base over here. Now, the Hellions are going to be able to help out in a big way versus the Lings. Are there enough Marines to deal with the Mutalisks? I mean, this is a close battle no matter how you slice it. Hellions actually going to be going for a counterattack over here. They do kill off one of those Lings, and Scarlett does she decide to fall back to intercept those Hellions. It looks like the bait and switch may have actually worked here, using those Hellions there and then going to retreat them back. Oh, that is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant there, and showing, hey, I have Hellions here, then trying to force the army back as soon as he sees the army going back. Ooh, I don't know about these Banshees. I really don't know about these Banshees. Might need them with the army a little bit later on. But we'll see if this actually ends up working out for Ryung or not. But the Spore Crawler is in a pretty good spot, and they do need to back up here as soon as they possibly can, because the Mules are just going to fall back and kill us off, no problem. I don't even think they're even going to be able to kill off anything. The Overseer's here already, and they're going to eat those up, no problem. Now, this does give Ryung a little bit of map control here, or map positioning, I should say, as he is going to be able to start pushing this creep back. But Scarlett, she is known for her creep spread, so not only do you have to beat it back, but it's kind of like a garden. You have to maintain the weeds by pushing back those creep tumors constantly, because Scarlett will replace them quicker than almost any other Zerg that I've seen. But we do have a third base up for Ryung right now, so he's going to be looking to be in pretty good shape there. It does look like Scarlett is actually supply blocked right now, which is not good at all. Trying to focus down these Banshees with the Hellions. They do a lot of damage there, but ends up losing all those Hellions. Not sure why they decided to stop running. This is very uncharacteristic of Ryung here. Losing 2 minutes. We'll be able to push those Mutalisks back, though, and we'll get a queen for his efforts as well. Did have to stem to chase it down, but at the same time is going to continue to push these creep tumors back. Now, creep tumors are basically free. They only cost energy, and you get a lot of them if each creep tumor survives, because you get a free next one once that timer runs out. But I gotta say, killing off that army and pushing the creep back just a little bit, that's a great spot for Ryung to be in. Losing those Hellions does suck, but at the end of the day, I mean, the Hellions have kind of they're not as useful as they were in the early stages of the game, is what I will say. They are still a good unit, and you don't want to end up losing against. Oh, gotta be careful of these Mules here. Individually focusing down 3 overall, I believe. Those Marines, man, promote them, as that is absolutely awesome here. But we do have 5,300 resources lost to 3,800, as Ryung is looking just to get himself into a better and better spot. And remember, 3-base Terran is absolutely terrifying. I mean, it's so scary that they don't even need gas on these 3 bases. That is how scary and cost efficient this army can be, as we do have lots of Marines mixed in. They do have 1-1. We'll take a look over here at Scarlett. How are her upgrades looking at? They are at 2-2, though, and that does make a huge difference here. The Mutalisks are at +1 attack, but we do have +2 attack on the way for that as well. So a nice upgrade advantage coming into this next battle if Scarlett decides to attack right away, but 2-2 is just moments away from being done for Ryung here. And that's going to help him play, I guess, it's a defensive game or offensive if he decides to. He is moving out right when that 2-2 is done, and that's going to even the battlefield right now. Just needs to make sure to wait for it, as, boop, there it goes. He now has 2-2, and he knows that he has 2-2, so he's going to go ahead and move on it. I keep saying 2-2 a lot, like it's an outfit that I'm wearing, which is probably not the best outfit to be wearing right now, but that's okay. There's no camera, you guys can't see, but the Thor right now, Thor is here, is going to try and defend this army as best as possible can from those Vanlings. The SCVs narrowly escaping with their lives here, as Scarlett looking to be in pretty good shape. Did she ever research Burrow? I'm actually genuinely curious, as she does have Burrow, so keep an eye out for Baneling landmines, as there's the scan there. I think Scarlett really wants to burrow there, but has to wait for the scan to go away. And guys, I hope you're leaning close to your monitors, because I feel like Baneling landmines will be an imminent threat. What's also an imminent threat, though, is these Marines taking out more and more Mutalisks here, just slowly keeping that army supply very low. As far as the Mutalisk count is concerned, there's going to be a couple links over here. Can 4 links kill off 2 decently upgraded Marines? The answer is yes. So that was a cost-efficient battle there for her. But what she has to deal with is this army that's pushing forward. Remember that Ryung was ahead in the earlier stages, but has Scarlett actually clawed her way back into this game? She is at 189 supply here. There's going to be a counterattack over here just to kill off these creep tumors. Unfortunately, those Marines are kind of slacking, so they didn't end up killing off all those. And it does look like the Mules are going to be able to clean this up, no problem. These are the type of victories that Scarlett needs to continue raking in. I mean, it's a long uphill battle, but she can still do it. Ends up losing that Queen, though, which is a very vital Queen, because she needs more larva. Big Baneling hits coming up. Widowmine right there, not really doing that much for Ryung here. But I gotta say, both these players are maxed out, and Scarlett decides it's now or never. She's gonna try and break this defense, or contain, I guess I should say. And so far, looks like it is working out for her, but at what cost, as she has lost so much supply in that engagement. Although the push continues right now. Bailey throwing in the last few. Gotta be able to scare this army away, and Mutalisks can always clean up these medevacs if there's enough travel time, because they're faster than medevacs without the boost. Does get one more right there. Has to watch out for those Widow Mines, though. Scarlett backing out at the absolute last second, and this is one of the reasons I love TvZ so much, is that the Zerg is able to get their feet dirty, kind of dig in and defend. Then all of a sudden it makes it very awkward for Terran, where they're trying to expand, and that's when the crazy counterattacks begin. That's when the craziness of these games begin. There's going to be the scan, and whoops. Okay, no, I thought he was killing his own Widow Mine. That was so, oh my god! Did you see that? If you landed, that was amazing. If you landed on a Zergling, it like flew that body up in the air. That was actually awesome. I love I will always love the physics in StarCraft 2. I don't care if no one ever plays this game again. I'm just going to be sitting here watching replays just to watch the physics. It's one of my favorite things in StarCraft 2. But it does look like the Zorg's got to be moving on out. 2-2 again has been done for a while, but guess what? Scarlett's going to be at the upgrade disadvantage here in just a moment. Having the +2 attack on the Mutalisk with the +1 armor on the way is huge. But we are going to be seeing 3-3 on the way for Ryung, and I have to re-emphasize, this game determines which team advances to the grand finals. One of the teams will drop to the loser's bracket with still a very high chance of advancing to the finals. Oh, watch out for those Marines, as they are going to be scaring this army away here. So many Mutalisks there were at threat of getting taken out. I think only 1 or 2 did end up going down. The Overseer getting taken out as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see another one instantly built to replace it. And apparently this is the one that gets selected, the one in the very far back end of the base. But hey, they move pretty darn quick, so shouldn't be a problem. Mutas right here are able to clean up more and more Marines here, but at what cost? Again, a couple Mutas do go down, as these Marines able to at least do a little bit of damage before falling. Oh, the medevacs, though, this is huge. The medevacs have got to stay alive. This is really kind of the backbone of this army, you know, because Ryung can afford to replace Marines almost forever. But the medevacs are what are very difficult to build. They take forever, they cost a lot, and then you have to regenerate that energy. Not a good situation, and so he wants to keep those alive at all costs. Marines, I mean, they spawn with full HP combat shields and stim packs, so they're basically, they're kind of out of the box as seen on TV style. You just open it and have fun. They're fun size, I would say. Medevacs there, they're a little bit more maintenance, as you have to wait for that energy. But either way, Scarlett here able to prevent these Marines from really doing all that much. And I'm kind of curious on the overall income in this game. We'll take a look in just a second. But right now we do have the attack up here at Scarlett's 5th base. The drones will escape, but she definitely needs to get that mining up and running because she is about tied here with Ryung. So if Ryung decides to throw down a lot of mules, he'll be right back in this. It doesn't get the mules here, go straight for the medevac, and the Marines here are going to be able to clean up that drop, no problem. This is where individual drops stop being super effective, but at the same time, Ryung needs to watch out for the banelings, but also able to kill off a lot of these creep tumors once again with a big scan. Could start to push this back, and I think that might be ideal. Scarlett's creep threat is still pretty good this game, considering that it has been non-stop action. Like non-stop action this game. If you kind of think back of how many attacks we've actually seen, neither player having the absolute devastating losses, though, needed for their opponent to win, as Scarlett might end up losing his base if she's not too careful. There's the Thor getting some big splash shots off on those Mutalisks. It's not going to be enough to kill them off, but it is definitely enough to soften them up just a little bit for the Marines to finish it up. Widowmine got to be careful there. Thankfully for Scarlett, that Widowmine hit was not that terrifying, and the splash damage alone does end up killing it off, even though she couldn't spot it here. But here she goes once again to try and clean up this minor contain, and Ryung is going to give up his position. More Marines are on the way trying to stem in and reinforce, as Scarlett, they're going to be pushing this all the way back home. That poor Thor is almost one-shot there by the amount of Mutalisks, but guess what? Lots of Lings suffering the same fate. That is a lot of dead blood right there for those Zergans. These Marines actually managed to kill off this hatchery. I can't believe they did that. I honestly did not realize those Marines were still alive, able to kill that one off. A couple of Marines over here, they're like, should we go back home? They're like, no, let's push in. They're going to get killed off. They might be able to kill off 1 or 2 drones here, though, which would be nice. And nope, just a couple of Lings here. But either way, I'm pretty sure that was cost-effective here for Ryung, and also buying a little bit of time. But overall resources lost, you can see, are so close this game. Just like this overall series is currently tied 4-4. So no matter which way it goes, it's only a 5-4 victory here. But keep in mind that this is not the round robin stage, so those map scores don't matter. It's all about winning the round itself. As the army going to be moving in for Scarlett here. This is so many Mutalisks. I mean, like a ridiculous amount. 37 Mutalisks here. They can basically one-shot these missile turrets, and that's exactly what they're doing here. And might need to actually go for the armor upgrade for these missile turrets. I really don't know what else Ryung can do to defend against that many Mutas without just leaving his entire army back to do his bidding. The medevac over here trying to find somewhere to go. The Mutalisks will go ahead and swoop on back over here. These Marines, they don't know it yet, but I mean, just look at the mini map. That is literally a wall of Mutalisks flying his way. Talk about a terrifying army. The wall does overshoot a little bit, but that doesn't matter because they swing right on around and are able to kill off that medevac. Marine's got to be pushing forward right now. Again, to try and push back this creep threat. Anything Ryung can do to delay the inevitable attack from Scarlett is exactly what he needs to do. Now, Scarlett's saying, you know what, if you keep delaying me, I'm just going to go for Ultralisks. And what's crazy about this is she's managed to retain all these Mutalisks. So when it's this many Mutas and just a few Ultralisks sprinkled in, what are you supposed to do? What is the unit that counters that? I honestly don't know what the answer is. I haven't quite seen this unit composition before, because normally the Mutalisk count gets whittled down. There's another drop getting cleaned up. I mean, Ryung trying to sneak in, but these drops stop being effective at about this stage of the game. Sure, a couple drones may go down here, but it's only one once again, and I guess the second one as well, trying to do as much damage as he possibly can with these drops. He is buying himself some time to figure out what units am I actually going to be getting right now. Lots of changes going to be hanging out over there. It does look like these Marines, once again, will get cleaned up. Medevac going to go down as well. 3 Marines are inside, but guess what? The Overlords have spoiled your fun, and they've spotted you, and they've called in the Mutapolice. Which I would not want to be getting chased by a Mutalisk. If they're trying to apprehend me, a Mutalisk, I feel like, chasing me is one of the most terrifying things ever. And there is actually going to be the Terran building armor. I think this is a necessity at this point. Need to keep these buildings alive as long as possible, because I honestly don't know. I'm shocked at trying to figure out exactly what you use versus the amount of Mutalisks that are on the field mixed in with the Ultras and a couple of Infestors mixed in. We also have the Greater Spire on the way, as we could be seeing Broodlords potentially. I don't know. We'll have to see, though, if she does go for the +3 attack or not. But for now, that Greater Spire is going to be on the way. I got to say, Scarlett's TvZ is just a fascinating thing to watch. And her late game is so good. Normally, you see Zerg just try and stick with the Mutalisk, Zergling, Baneling to win the game. But Scarlett's saying, you know what? I'm not going to fall into that trap. I'm going to go for much better units. And you can see right now that Ryung does actually have too many Marauders to go up against, I think it's just 5 Ultralisks. And Ultralisks are nowhere in sight in the production tab. We're starting to see more Infestors and also starting to bankroll that money with the Greater Spire. So what we could be seeing is forcing a lot of Marauders, then tech switching to a ton of Broodlords. That would be absolutely crazy. We'll see if Scarlett can do it right now. But again, I just don't know what you're supposed to do versus this as Terran. The game rarely gets to this phase because Terran, if they're going to win, they normally have already done so. It does look like a drop over here. We'll kill off a couple of these defensive buildings and kind of force Scarlett annoyingly back. Oh, the Infestors have got to be careful, and a Queen as well, given Scarlett has way more than enough money to replace this, but still a minor victory at that for Ryung, which is exactly what he needs. These victories are getting fewer and far between just because he doesn't have the exact units that he wants. I mean, maybe now he has to get Ghosts. I don't know, but look at that resources lost. Could really not be much closer. It's a little over 100 resources lost more. Technically right now it's for Scarlett. A couple more of them are getting taken out here. But either way, a very close game, and Scarlett may have just the right unit composition. We'll see actually how this works out. Lings are mixed in as well. Here comes the Mutalisk. Do the Infestors decide to throw down Fungals? They do. Not getting the big money shots that they need, though, with the Marauders overextending just a tiny bit, trying to kill off the Infestors here. Unfortunately, though, they're attacking the Zerglings. The Ultras are in the back, which is actually a good thing right now, because the Lings are absorbing all that damage from those Marauders, as opposed to the Ultras, who do take additional damage. All the Ultras are getting a little bit stuck right now. Did Ryung overextend? We are about to find out. More reinforcements are on the way. Keep an eye on the supplies at the top right side, though. Both players plummeting in supply. The Widowmines here do get some nice shots off, but it's not enough to actually kill anything, as the Ultralisks, basically, I don't know if she meant to do that or if they got completely stuck, but it actually worked out working in her favor. And those look at the Planetary Fortress here. Should be able to defend this. The Sentry Tower is going to show exactly where that army is at. He knows that the Mutalisks are swinging around on that side. But again, not able to kill off any of the important units. Sure, there's only 2 Infestors right now, but that opened up supply for 5 more Ultralisks. Scarlett looking to be in pretty good shape. Is working on the +3 attack, soon to have +2 armor as well. And these Mutalisks just refuse to die. I cannot believe how long Scarlett has kept these Mutalisks alive. That is really the name of the game so far. And that has allowed Scarlett to save up all this money, because this is money that you would have had to spend replacing those Mutalisks. And she has not had to, so that is money saved in the bank. Both players are maxed out, though. Ryung just really struggling right now. I mean, there's no missile turret here, actually, to spot that one Ling that's kind of chilling out over there. So many Mutalisks. This amount of missile turrets is not enough. Looks like a minor possible drop over there. That didn't actually accomplish anything, but what do you do? What do you do as Terran? I'm flabbergasted that these Mutalisks are still alive. You have to use the Marines, but then you got to watch out for the Fungals. Thors might be okay. Irradiate from Brood War would actually be the way to go. Unfortunately, that is not going to be happening right now, as this army up in the top, or I guess technically top left side, just killing off an Overlord there. But the amount of Ultras on the field is getting a little bit out of control. 10 Ultras, 12 Banelings, 25 ES, and only 9 Zerglings. So you can see that she is using that supply and money on much more important units right now, which usually Zerglings are the important unit. But we do have the Corruptors on the way. They're going to go ahead and kill off that medevac as soon as they spawn. Not that that medevac is really going to be doing anything for Ryung at this stage of the game, but you can see Ryung is, normally the Marine army is the mobile one, but Scarlett, with this many Mutalisks and the creep strike continues, like I said, you have to maintain your garden over here. Otherwise, the garden is going to get completely out of control and rush Ultralisks into your house, which is why you should always mow your lawn, guys. But either way, you do have the mass. I can't believe that they're still alive. They have +3 attack, 1 armor. We have +2 armor on the way, like I've said, but we also have now ranged missile attacks on the way. which is kind of random. That's pretty random. We'll see exactly what that's going to be for a little bit later. But at this point, the fields here just going, I mean, so many missile turrets are just cleaning them up. No problem, just slicing through them like butter. So far this game, absolutely phenomenal, but we're going to be seeing one big attack at some point, and the longer Ryung waits, the more tech he's going to be going up against. He's going to be going up against Broodlords. He's going to be going up against possible Roach Hydra. He's going to be going up against Infestors, Ultras. I mean, it's his game at this point. Normally, Zerg wants to try and end the game before now, but since Scarlett has managed to buy enough time to get out every single unit that she needs, then all of a sudden it's up to Ryung to be the aggressor. We'll see if Scarlett decides to go for this or not. But it does look like Baneling's right there cleaning that up easily, and we are just waiting to see. Exactly how Scarlett can pull this off with, I guess it's mostly going to come down to Fungals. And for Ryung, he's got to get the good splits, but maybe going for battle cruisers, like, is that the only option at this point? That wouldn't do anything either, though. Maybe a nuke. A nuke might be good. EMPs might be effective as well. Try and make those infestors worthless, but they're not worthless. A big Fungal right here on this army. They're all going to pop simultaneously, and then not in a good way by any means. Thor does get one shot off, but I just got to say, Scarlett, full map control. She can have more bases, and she can counterattack more bases, plus the Broodlords are here. That is only 5 Broodlords, but there's no Vikings in sight. There's 2 on the way. Actually, they are right there, so there's the 4, but they got to be careful. The Fungal's coming on up, as it does look at the Mutalisk going to be able to take out these Vikings. Unfortunately, Fungal's out of control. You don't normally see Fungals like this at this level of play. Scarlett maybe just advancing her team to the grand finals, as she has the perfect unit composition. Overall army supply 155 to 128. Ryung falling behind in that regard. Even Fungals on the SCVs, trying to prevent them from retreating. The Widow Mines over here not able to do anything because the Broodlings can just absorb that for basically free. Now we have to get out Vikings here and then try and win with the Marine and Marauder. I think that is his last-ditch effort right now, but he's going to be losing bases left and right if he's not careful. Scarlett decides to go for it. Does she retreat or does she fully commit? This is so many units. The Fungal's going to be landing as well, and those are the perfect Fungals. Ryung absolutely crumbling here. Normally you'd see a Terror player in a defensive position be able to hold this off, but the answer is not today. Scarlett going to be able to defeat one of the best players from Team Axiom. She is defeating Team Axiom by advancing her team to the grand finals, as Team Axiom will drop down into that loser's bracket. And there's going to be the GG out of Ryung, an absolutely outstanding game. Oh my God, Scarlett showing us so many good games in this tournament. Wow. Wow, that game was awesome. Scarlett able to do it, getting the absolute perfect unit composition. 7 Broodlords, 2 Corruptors, 5 Ultras, 5 Infestors, 6 Mutalisks remain, but they had already served their purpose. She had more income to be able, actually, her income was abysmally small. So actually, if Ryung would have been able to hold this off, I think, well, there were 8 more Corruptors on the way, but if he was able to hold this off, then the income for Scarlett was not looking great. So that would have been a crazy game. But Scarlett, I mean, definitely having more than enough to end this game right now. An absolutely awesome game. So Team Acer advancing to the finals. Team Axiom dropping down into, I think, the top 3. Could easily make it to the finals once again, though. And if the finals are anything like this series, which ended up being 5-4, narrowly in favor of Acer, then the finals would be absolutely legendary. So anyways, hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys next time.